A very warm welcome to the Andalucia Rally 2021. We're back in this beautiful region of southern Spain for the second edition, and it all kicks off here at the Hacienda El Rosalejo. The sporting action will take place around Villamartin, some 65 kilometres southeast of Sevilla. After a short prologue, the competitors will battle it out across 4 stages with just over 1,000 kilometres against the clock. Now, some of the world's biggest rally raid stars will be facing off in Spain, many of them looking to kick off their season on a high note. For the cars, this is round 1 of the FIA World Cup for cross-country rallies, but there are still plenty of top riders here in other categories, including the bikes. Rally director David Castera tells us what's new for 2021. We've managed to improve the tracks. We know them better, we saw what worked and what didn't work last year. We've tried to slow things down in places, going up into the hills. The idea is to discover the whole of Andalucia. We're going to a new province, Córdoba. Last year the fields had been harvested, so the tracks were harder to see, and in a way it should be easier to find a way through. The tracks are harder and narrower because of the wheat fields, and the landscape is totally different. It's still green or just changing colour, so we're going to see another side of Andalusia. Well, the big news in the bikes is that Pablo Quintanilla has joined the Monster Energy Honda team. The Chilean's move was only announced the day before the rally, so he didn't have much time to get to grips with the CRF 450 rally. Quintanilla didn't overdo it in the short 8-kilometre prologue, finishing 27 seconds down in 9th place. It was an impressive start for the Hero Motorsports team, all 3 of their riders in the top 4. Sebastian Buller only lives 300 kilometres away in Portugal, and that's basically a daily commute for a rally rider. He knows this terrain well, although that doesn't mean he can't occasionally stray off course. 3rd place for the German. The tracks between the wheat fields are narrow and they kick up a lot of dust, so all of the riders were keen to be up at the front. Joan Barreda's also here with Honda, and the Spaniard put the hammer down, only missing out on the win by a solitary second. Joaquim Rodriguez won the prologue in 6 minutes and 13. J-Rod, who finished 11th at the last Dakar, was happy with some of the changes that have been made to the Hero 450 rally.
This is a good beginning. We have trying new stuff on the bike, and it seems that it was working. So we're really happy with the result, but we still a few days to go. So we'll see how it goes the next days.
On to stage 1 with Sebastian Buller once again in 3rd. The German pointed out that the high grass can hide the dangers and the ruts on the tracks, so you have to be super careful. He caught his teammate Joaquim Rodriguez, who had started first but lost almost 7 minutes after an early navigation mistake. Another good day for Joan Barreda, who is outgunning his new Honda teammate Pablo Quintanilla. While the Chilean was down in 6th, the Spaniard came 2nd, only 22 seconds off the pace. Bang Bang also snatching the overall lead. The stage victory went to Lorenzo Santolino, who was happy with his pace in spite of the perils of high grass and low sunshine. The Spaniard had to ease off a bit after hitting a stone. That tore a hole in his rear tyre, and he's also got a bit of a sore shoulder after a crash last week.
Feeling was really good. The beginning, warming up with the shoulder, I had 2-3 small scary moments, but then was good. I started to feel confidence, take a good rhythm with the bike, with the nav.
Meanwhile, Frenchman Sébastien Soudé made an ideal start in the quads, with victory in both the prologue and the opening stage. A long second stage, 339 kilometres, and Joaquim Rodriguez said it was pretty sketchy in places. He managed to keep his Hero on the tracks, but dropped to 5th after a late penalty. Franco Caimi was pretty happy with his efforts and says he's getting used to the new bike. The Argentine did get a bit turned around at one point, and he had some issues with his rear brake, but otherwise a solid day in 4th. It looked like Joan Barreda had extended his overall lead after setting the fastest time despite a minor crash, but he was slapped with a 4-minute penalty for speeding and dropped to 2nd. Today's enduro-style tracks weren't really Pablo Quintanilla's cup of tea. He's more of an open desert man, but he still had the best outing of his week so far in 3rd. Lorenzo Santolino, on the other hand, has an enduro background, so he did a fine job navigating the sinuous mountain tracks. He stayed out in front all day and, with Barreda's penalty, took the stage honours. Santolino also going top of the overall standings, 1 minute 43 ahead of Barreda, with Kaimi, Quintanilla and Bula making up the top 5. Sebastian Soudet took a dominant victory in the quads on stage 2, bringing his Yamaha to the finish line some 20 minutes ahead of his nearest rival. The Frenchman now boasts a commanding overall lead, over 22 minutes clear of his fellow compatriot Vincent Pedrona, with Spain's Tony Vingegaard a distant third, almost 40 minutes off the pace. Around 20 bikers here at the Andalucia Rally are taking part in the Enduro Cup. It's an opportunity for Rally Raid rookies to learn the ropes of the discipline.
This is my first ever rally. What a day, absolutely loving it. Sun's out, riding bikes all day. Life couldn't be any better.
It's a different kind of competition, nothing like motocross or what have you. It's a new kind of enjoyment, pure pleasure.
In enduro, what I've done before is just normal 2-3 hour head and hounds, but this compared to that, you know, throw in a road book as well, it's just a job to keep up.
The sun rising on another beautiful day in Andalucia, with almost 300 kilometres for the bikers to cover. Pablo Quintanilla managed to get through without any major issues despite some tricky notes in the roadbook, 5th on the day. The Chilean says he's looking forward to seeing what this Honda can do in the desert. Sebastian Bula thinks these heavy rally bikes are better suited to the fast and open tracks. He was 4th. However, the German incurred a 15-minute penalty for changing an engine and dropped to 8th in the standings. Several of the top guys held up by minor discrepancies between the roadbook and the GPS, but Lorenzo Santolino was happy enough as he once again opened for the whole day. He lost traction after 100k and took things easier, the Spaniard 3rd on the day and slipping to 2nd overall. Joaquim Rodriguez had a few dicey moments. He went off the track twice at high speed, but kept it on 2 wheels and got back to the bivouac safe and sound. The Portuguese rider's 2nd and very impressed with his hero. He's now running 4th overall. Joan Barreda's another rider who likes the fast stages, so he was in his element. The Spaniard roared back to the top of the standings, winning by almost 3 minutes. He's in a great position to take victory. He just has to keep an eye out for any traps in the 4th and final stage.
We try to manage as well as possible in these situations and to keep calm and going until the end. And finally, I think we make a good stage.
On to the 4th and final stage, 247 kilometres with many of the same slippery tracks as on stage 2. It was always going to be a tall order for Santolino to make up nearly 3 minutes on Barreda. He gave it a good go, his pace was good despite an early crash, but the Spaniard could only manage 3rd. He said opening twice has been good for his navigation and he was very happy with 2nd place overall. Barreda hasn't won a rally since Merzuga in 2018, but his drought is over after he kept Santolino at bay on this final stage. After 4 wrist operations and a lot of hard work in recent years, he's finally back on top of the podium. A brilliant effort to win the rally by 3.5 minutes, and the good news it didn't stop there for Honda as their new boy Pablo Quintanilla claimed a stage 4 victory. He'll soon be heading home to Chile to take his new bike for a spin in the desert, but first he can celebrate joining Barreda on the podium. Quintanilla 3rd overall on his debut.
It was not easy, really hard, really demanding rally, short 4 days, but really explosive.
Confirmation of the final standings in the bikes, Barreda ahead of Santolino and Quintanilla, with Joaquim Rodriguez and Jacopo Cerruti rounding out the top 5. Sebastian Soudet secured a dominant victory in the quads. The Frenchman took a gamble here in Andalucia, bringing a Yamaha 450 instead of a 700, and it paid off beautifully. He took the win by half an hour from Vincent Pedrona. In the cars, it looks like we're set for a showdown between Nasser Al-Attiyah, who's defending his title in Andalucia, and Carlos Sainz, who has a new Mini 4x4. The two Rally Raid legends boast 6 Dakar titles between them. Well, Sainz admitted he wasn't feeling too confident in his new car in the first few days. It's been around a decade since he last drove the Rally 4x4. But with the help of his faithful co-driver Lucas Cruz, he only lost 9 seconds on the prologue, finishing in third. It's no real surprise to see Vaidotas Zala up towards the front. The Lithuanian's been going from strength to strength in recent years, and a brilliant stage win at Dakar 2020 really put him on the map. He's back after a 5-month break and went second fastest. But on a day where the top 5 were separated by just 23 seconds, Nasser Al-Attiyah found that extra something special, as he so often does. The Qatari clocking 5 minutes 50 to beat Zala by just 3 seconds, the defending champion off to the ideal start.
Good stage, you know. Okay, it's not easy, very narrow, and we did really good job. We are here, you know, to enjoy and to defend our title from last year also.
The performance of the day on stage 1 belonged to Erik van Loon. The Flying Dutchman set off in 18th place, but he went storming through the field to finish 5th and go 5th overall. Vladimir Vasiliev still getting to grips with the quick and narrow tracks, and he didn't quite get the settings right on his BMW on stage 1. Last year's World Cup Bajas winner 4th on the day and 4th in the standings. Sainz said he spent more of this stage fighting his own car than his rally rivals. He got a little bit turned around at one point and lost around 2.5 minutes, a frustrating outing for El Matador. But another good day for Vaidotas Zala, who looks keen to establish himself as one of the top names in this discipline. The Lithuanian had a few spins, but he stayed second overall. Can he take the fight to the big boys? In his own words, time will tell. Well, this man is currently the biggest boy in town. A second outing and a second victory for Nasser Al-Attiyah. He and Mathieu Baumel had a hairy moment at one point when they crossed a stranded vehicle coming the other way, but otherwise a trouble-free day for the Qatari. His lead over Zala, 1 minute and 28 seconds.
It was a very good special stage, you know. We have leading now, and yeah, it looks like in good way, and we try to do every day like this.
Erik van Loon struggled to find his rhythm in the early part of stage 2, but things improved as the day wore on. He had to change the front right tyre after hitting a stone, but eventually cruised home in 5th place. Van Loon says he's looking forward to a fight with Vaidotas Zala on stage 3. The Lithuanian had a tough day, making a few mistakes and saying it was probably down to inattentiveness. They came in 4th and slipped to 3rd overall. Nasser Al-Attiyah was 3rd, but he managed to limit his losses pretty well. He and Mathieu Baumel opened from start to finish, and they really upped the pace in the second section. No punctures, and they remain top of the overall standings. Yazid Al-Raji had his best performance so far. The Saudi had a slow puncture towards the end, but that didn't stop him from coming second. His shoulder still isn't at 100%, but this outing will have done him good. Carlos Sainz was wrestling with his new car for most of the first 2 days, but this was a much smoother outing for the Spaniard. El Matador able to push a bit more in the Mini 4x4, and that increased confidence helped him to land the stage victory.
Yesterday some adjust, and I think I can drive the car with more confidence, which is important.
Overall, Al-Attiyah leads Sainz by 1 minute 26. There's now a gap of nearly 5 minutes back to Zala in 3rd. There's a new face on the mini stand here in Andalucia. Matthias Ekstrom, a former world rallycross champion and a 3-time winner of the Race of Champions.
Yeah, I mean, the life in rally raid is very different to what I've done before. The stages have no pace notes, you have to drive on what you see. Also, the stages are very much longer than normal rally. I think the cool thing is that you can drive in really rough terrain, and a mixture of nice roads, field roads, really aggressive mountains, sand dunes. So I think when you're full gas on the power here, it's most of the time spinning wheel driving sideways. So it's a lot of fun, but sometimes I wish we would have more traction to go faster forward.
Well, Ekstrom had his best day of the rally on stage 3, coming 4th, and that was impressive considering his co-driver Emil Bergqvist had a bad stomach. The Swede had a really good flow at the start, especially with the heavier fuel load, although the rear-wheel drive Mini began to slide around a bit more as the stage wore on. Everything went well today for Carlos Sainz. He and Lucas Cruz only lost a handful of seconds when they briefly took the wrong road. The Spaniard finished third and stays second overall, though he has a fair chunk of time to make up to the leader, Nasser Al-Attiyah. Yazid Al-Rajhi set a good tempo all day and he finished second. The Saudi said it was more than perfect to be back up to third overall, given the time he lost on stage 1. He had no power steering for the final 30k, but finished within 2 minutes of the winner. Well, that was of course this man, Nasser Al-Attiyah, the defending champion, pushing for most of the day without taking unnecessary risks. He is determined to finish the job and claim victory on Sunday, saying that in Rally Raid, success often breeds success. Matthias Ekstrom didn't take too many risks at the start of the week, saying Rally Raid rookies have to be smart, but his confidence in the Mini has grown and he swept in the end to 5th overall. The Swede setting himself up for the long haul in this discipline with a Dakar victory in his crosshairs. Nasser Al-Attiyah went into the final stage with a lead of almost 5 minutes, and that meant he could afford to take it a little bit easier. The Qatari successfully defending his title. He's also promised to come back next year and target the hat-trick. For Carlos Sainz, this was a one-off experience in the 4x4, but a useful one. He's also been mentoring fellow Mini teammate Leia Sanz as she gets to grips with the T1 cars. El Matador said that if the rally had started today, he might have been able to give Al-Attiyah more of a fight, but he contented himself with the Stage 4 win and 2nd overall.
It was a fantastic weekend, I am quite happy to win again and defend our title from last year, and we are really fast crew in this rally. Yeah, I am quite happy. Matthew, he did really good job, navigation, and the team overdrive, he did really good job. I am quite happy, to win this race.
Al-Attiyah winning by just 43 seconds in the end from Sainz after a late penalty. 3 Toyotas and 2 Minis making up the top 5. The Red Bull Off-Road Junior team will take some beating in the lightweight vehicles. Their all-star lineup features Seth Quintero, Mitch Guthrie, new boy Guillaume de Mevius and Cristina Gutierrez. Well, the OT3s set out their stall in the prologue with all 4 of their drivers in the top 5. Defending champion Guthrie was second, just ahead of Rui Carneiro, third last year and winner of the Road to Dakar Challenge. The Red Bull Armada led home by their newest member, Guillaume de Mevius, son of the Belgian rally driver Gregoire. He has clearly got speed in the blood. He only finished a few seconds behind the T1 cars, a perfect start for de Mevius with his new team. Lionel Beau's been mad about rallying since he was a teenager, and even now in his 50s, there's no holding him back. An impressive showing on stage 1 as he kept pace with the Red Bull youngsters in 3rd. Cristina Gutierrez came second in her OT3. The 29-year-old Spaniard made headlines with a brilliant stage win at this year's Dakar, and she's clearly a force to be reckoned with, a few minutes off the pace in second. But nobody could keep up with the teen tornado that is Seth Quintero. The 18-year-old American storming to victory, going almost 2 minutes quicker than Gutierrez. He's even mixing it up with the T1 cars.
I think we're like 6th or 7th overall car, which is absolutely amazing. Only like 5 minutes off the lead, which blows my mind. Really shows you what this OT3 is capable of. And yeah, overall had a really good day.
One really good day followed by one really bad day for Quintero. Disaster for the American as his OT3 suffered gearbox failure on the way to the start of stage 2. Cristina Gutierrez didn't have quite as much trouble as her Red Bull teammate, but she lost around 8 minutes on the stage, while the defending champion Mitch Guthrie was second. These OT3s may be limited to 130 km an hour, but on the twisting tracks of Andalucia, they're giving the T1 cars a run for their money. Guillaume de Mevius scooping stage honours to make it a Red Bull 1-2-3, the Belgian winning by over 6 minutes to storm into the overall lead.
We drive well, we didn't have any problem, we just did a good stage and we won, so good second day.
De Mevius and his experienced co-driver Tom Colsall opening up a gap of 6 minutes and 7 seconds on Gutierrez. There was another Red Bull 1-2-3 on stage 3 in exactly the same order as stage 2. Cristina Gutierrez had a better day, even if she lost her intercom at one point. Plenty of local support for the Spaniard as she cruised home in third. Mitch Guthrie happy with his pace and handling. The defending champion tore up his OT3 pretty badly on stage 1 but limited his losses, and after coming second today, he's back up onto the podium. Guillaume de Mévius taking his second straight win to increase his overall lead to around 11 minutes. The 26-year-old says his rally background is ideal for this spin around Andalucia, but he may find it harder to keep up with his teammates in the desert. We've seen the strengths of the Red Bull OT3 throughout this rally, but also the weaknesses. Gearbox failure ending de Mévius' hopes of taking victory on his debut and also costing Guthrie a serious amount of time. Their loss was Lionel Beau's gain. The Frenchman's had a great time this week, saying his Zephyr has really progressed. With the Red Bull woes, he climbed up to second overall, a great effort after winning the Phoenix Rally last month. Victory though went to Cristina Gutierrez, a reward for her patience and consistency. The Spaniards described last year's Andalucia Rally as a turning point in her career, and she will now have plenty of fond memories of 2021 as well.
Yeah, it's incredible. I am a little bit shy, but it's nice because it's Spain, it's my place, it's my favorite place, of course, and I'm very happy to stay here again.
Gutierrez winning by a handsome margin from Beau, with another Frenchman, Jean-Luc Pisson, sneaking onto the podium. Camelia Liparotte is enjoying a change of pace at this rally. She's acting as co-driver for Eric Dessen, the president of Yamaha Europe, who has treaded the boardroom for the bivouac.
With my job, I have all reason not to be there. Camelia is hitting my head and saying, no, you have to go back to the field. You must experience yourself. And I love this kind of easy and full connection with teams, drivers, riders.
Normally I am a driver, but this rally I am co-driving, so I am learning a lot. It is very interesting, especially that we have an electronic roadbook for the first time, so everything is new for me. Eric is driving very well, fast and safe.
Over in the SSVs, no fewer than 10 vehicles are being prepped in the South Racing Garage. Among them are the Monster Energy Can-Am duo of Austin Jones and Aram Domsala. The Polish star is defending his crown in Andalucia. Well, Domsala set the pace in the prologue, but he was set to plummet down the standings after a big crash on stage 1. Khalifa Alatia, Nasser's younger brother, was just 9 seconds off the pace in his Can-Am Maverick. Austin Jones eased off the gas on stage 1. He was around 60%, he said. He didn't want to get caught up in the chaos like his teammate Domsala, and came third on the day. Up in second was Mathieu Margaillon. The Frenchman only tried SSVs out for the first time last year, but he had so much fun at the Andalucia Rally that he decided to do the Dakar as well. Khalifa Alatia took the stage honours, making it 2 wins for his family on the same day. The Qatari is really stepping out of the shadow of his brother Nasser and showing great pace alongside French co-driver Xavier Panzeri. It was a fast second stage with just 40 seconds separating the top 3. Austin Jones got into a bit of trouble after taking the wrong road, but he pushed in the second sector and limited his losses. He's second overall and confident he can still win the rally. Aram Domsala's hopes of defending his title went up in smoke on stage 1 after that big crash, but he was able to get back on the tracks today, the pole second, despite getting caught up in the dust. But it's surprise package at Khalifa Alatia, who still leads the way. The Qatari is doing a fantastic job in his South Racing Can-Am, making it 2 stage wins in 2 days. His lead over Jones, 5 minutes and 25 seconds. At this rate, they're going to need to make more space in the Alatia trophy cabinet. However, Alatia had a trickier outing on stage 3. The Qatari ended up on his side at one point, but got a helping hand from some locals and only lost around 5 minutes, finishing third. Aram Domsala changed his setup today and was very happy with the results, better speed, turning and braking. The Pole has a sore coccyx from his stage 1 crash and also suffered a puncture, but he still came home in second place. His Monster Energy Can-Am teammate Austin Jones was the day's big winner. The American pushing hard from start to finish. He grabbed both the stage win and the overall lead.
No problems, no punctures, no crashes, no mechanical issues. We flew all day today, so it was really good. Exactly what we needed.
Aaron Domzala was never really at the races this year after his big crash on the opening stage. The Pole's been playing around with the settings in his Monster Energy Can-Am and had good speed again today, coming second on the stage. But the day and the rally belong to his teammate Austin Jones, the American claiming his first overall victory in Rally Raid. With his nearest challenger Khalifa Alatia suffering mechanical problems, he saw it out in style with the stage win.
We are, yeah. You know what? After the second day, we made a plan on what we were going to do. If we wanted to really win this race, we were going to have to go, and we made a plan, and we got our stuff together, and we went for it, and it worked out perfectly. So super happy.
Jones over 13 minutes clear of double stage winner Alatia, with Dutch pair Kees Kolen and Miriam Pohl in third place. Well, it's certainly been a memorable second edition of the Andalucia Rally. Thanks very much for joining us, and do tune in again next year.